Hello everyone, my name is Les Kapuscinski, and on behalf of the International Polka Association, I've been asked to conduct an interview with three very interesting gentlemen. All of them are Hall of Famers of the International Polka Association, and all have had illustrious careers in the polka business. First of all, we have, in no particular order, Edward Guca. Eddie Guca and his Polish Canadians have been entertaining people for over 52 years. His band, including the Polish Canadians and Major Music, the Canadian Fiddlesticks for many years, as well as touring North America and parts of Europe with Ludowa Nuta in recent years. Eddie's done it all. He's a recording engineer, he's a great songwriter, a great musician, has had hit after hit in the polka business, a great guy, Eddie Guca. Next we have John Gora. John Gora this year in particular has had unprecedented success with his newest CD, My Polish Roots and Beyond, winning multiple awards from the International Polka Association as well as other organizations in polka music. But John has been entertaining people for many years. So many great albums, so many great performances. John is a true entertainer and just so much fun, and that shows through in this interview as well. I think you'll enjoy it. Last but certainly not least, Walter Ostanek. Walter Ostanek is a jewel, not just in Canada, but all over the world. Walter has the Order of Canada, which is the highest order one can receive as an entertainer in Canada. He has a star on the Canadian Walk of Fame, which again, for someone in the polka business, this is a great honor for all of us who love polka music to have Walter represented there. Walter has recorded, I think, over 92 recordings of his own, and hundreds more with other people, including some very famous people. He's been on The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson, along with Frankie Yankovic and others, on several other big TV shows. He's toured the world. He's just really done it all, been everywhere, and still enjoys polka music to this day at the ripe age of 85, I believe. So these are three really great entertainers and musicians. I know you're going to love the interview, so let's get at it.
All right, hello polka world, hello polka fans. My name is John Gora.
Yes, Walter Ostanek and Eddie Guca.
Eddie Guca from Toronto.
The one and only Walter Ostanek.
Here we are.
What a privilege!
You're at my house.
You
My
are
house.
the
In your
one.
town.
In my town.
You're also the oldest, so you're the best.
No, we are
Put it
in,
this way here, I'm still here.
ladies and gentlemen, we are in St. Catharines, Ontario.
Yes.
The home of Walter Ostanek, and we are at his home. And as you could see by the mailbox, we are at his house. I guess you took that
No
shot.
questions about that.
There you go.
So here we are with our esteemed guests, the trifecta of polka power in Canada. On your far left, John Gora. In the center, Walter Ostanek, and Ed Guca on the right hand side. So gentlemen, the IPA and your fans have submitted some questions for me to ask you, and we'll start the first one with Walter, and then the other two will answer also. Was there anyone in your family who was a musician or played an instrument?
My mother loved music but didn't play anything. My father, he was a carpenter. But my uncles in Slovenia, they were, and even my grandfather was a button accordion player.
Ed?
My uncle was a musician, and they had a band here. He was part of one of the well-known bands that played at weddings and dances. My mom played an instrument in Poland. She played a flute. My father had an old violin, and he really didn't play the violin, but he could play tunes, and I got a lot of the old tunes from, he would just sit and play the violin. In fact, we had little Wally over one time, and he pulled out the violin and he was sitting there with little Wally, and it was about 1 o'clock in the morning. I said, I'm going to bed. Around 4 o'clock in the morning, they're still in the kitchen singing and playing, and Wally had his concertina, and so that was later on. But basically my uncle is the one that inspired me for getting into music.
John?
I was surrounded by music in Poland growing up in Poland. My uncle had a band, he played violin, my dad played the violin, and mom sang in like a ladies' village, ladies' circle. So lots of music, a lot of folk music around. So when I came to Canada in '74, somebody put on a recording of Little Wally. Look at the song he wrote. And I said, you're a friend, Little Wally. I said, you know what? He might have registered the rights to that song, but he didn't write that song because I knew all these folk songs. I knew all these folk songs.
Yes.
Amen.
Okay, great. Now we're going to ask a second question. When did you start your
How many
band?
points do we get for that one?
There's no points. No points, no prizes.
Come on, Walter. There's a prize at the end of this.
So we'll start with Eddie. When did you start
going
your
back
band?
a long time ago. In high school, because the high school I was in, Parkdale Collegiate, mostly Polish and Ukrainian students.
Give us a
there.
year.
A year, I'd say 50, 54, 55, maybe 56, somewhere around there. When you try to go that far back, you're not quite sure when you started. But anyways, in high school, we got together in the music room. There was a Ukrainian fellow that played trumpet called Bill Kowalchuk, and there was a sax player there.
Well, we're gonna. That's further down in the questions. There's another question if you remember the original band member. So we'll leave that for another time.
Okay.
Okay. John.
Well, it's me again. High school started the music program in high school because I wasn't taking any other lessons before. So 74 high school, and then 77 first little cha-cha band at the Legion Halls.
Okay.
Walter.
And I started my band January 26, 1957, and I got
Mr.
married on
Encyclopedia.
February 22nd, a month later.
Very nice.
All right.
Okay, so now the third question: who inspired you in polka music, John?
Maybe the question should be why polka music got inspired by polka music. I went to a wedding in '74, and my sister-in-law says, "You want to go to a wedding with us? You have to learn how to polka." And you know who played? Wally Bebenek from Toronto.
I know.
You knew Wally.
Yeah.
So I became to I love polka music right then,
Yeah.
but the early inspiration from the recording, of course, you listen to Wally. Eddie B.
Yep.
Senior was the man,
Yeah,
his voice
yeah,
and the beat. That was my inspiration.
Walter.
Well, my inspiration, no question. America's Polka King at that time, or whatever, he did earn it, was Frankie Yankovic. I wanted to be like him. I smiled like him. And the old saying is that if you follow a successful person, you might never be as successful. You'll always be a success. Follow a failure, and you're guaranteed a failure.
Good. Did you?
Well, I guess my inspiration going back to my uncle and the fact that he was in a good polka band, and a lot of the bands in Canada, as I was growing up, we went to a lot of weddings, and all I did was stand by the band all night. My parents wouldn't worry about what happened to me because they knew I'd be by the band. There was great bands such as Joya Draski, Mitz Zaleski, John Sava, Norm Haikoski, which was my uncle's band that he was in. And then we had a lot of records, Wojnarowski, Ray Henry, Walter Solak, and one of the ones that really got to me was the Connecticut Twins. So all that, and so when we started, it was that type of polka music. And then later on, Little Wally, Blazonczyk, all those inspired me. And there even was a lot of inspiration from Walter Ostanek, because I used to love watching the Sunday night. It was Sunday night, right?
Well,
The TV
Saturdays
show?
and Sundays.
Saturday?
Yeah, Saturdays.
And watching there and having a different style of polka
You know
music.
what? Here's a little story. When I came to Canada, I was in a Polish dance group, and we danced on Walter's show in Kitchener, and it was being taped by I think CTV affiliate.
Yeah.
And we danced for your show.
Well, I was
there.
on there. I was 4 years in Hamilton, but I was 24 years in Kitchener, off and on. 24 years, yeah. And actually, I'm still on TV right this minute with Brian Sklar and the Western Senators in Regina, Saskatchewan. We're on cable access television. We're on 3 or 4 times a week.
You know, behind the camera is a well-known Canadian photographer, Les Kapuscinski. People know him from Facebook and.
Okay.
And Les, are we rolling, by the way?
We are.
I got a question. Les told me a story.
Okay.
First time he met Walter Ostanek.
Okay.
Do you recall when you met this Les Kapuscinski first time?
No, he would never remember.
Les, just tell him.
When I was a youngster, maybe 15, 16 years old, we had a band out of Sarnia called the Happy Canadians.
Oh,
We were
yeah,
young.
I remember that.
And there used to be a big festival in Inwood, I believe it was, a big Oktoberfest kind of a thing. They had multiple tents. They actually closed it down because it became too big.
Was that maybe near Chatham?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Near Chatham,
Yeah.
a little town, but it
Yeah.
just exploded. Thousands of people would come
Yeah.
in. So you were playing one time, and we had just finished up, and we were, like I said, 15 or 16 years old, and I was playing guitar back then, and you came to me and you said, my guitar player is sick. He's throwing up behind the stage. Do you think you can handle my stuff? And I
Maybe
said,
you
sure.
had too much to drink.
You can
So
use-
Walter asked,
So,
"Can you handle my
you
stuff?"
had me play one set with you, and the only instructions I got was, you better smile. Just keep smiling.
That's what
That was first encounter.
That's what I was told all the time. Frankie said, "Look, you got to smile. You got to look like you're happy, even if you're not. You got to look like."
Even somebody told me, even if you don't worry, if you make a mistake, just smile. People look at your face.
Okay, so the next question here is, what was the name of your first recording?
My first recording was called "Gay Continental Dance Party,"
I have that album.
Volume 1 and Volume 2.
There's some cha-chas there.
But now they have changed it and took off the gay.
So it's called Happy Continent.
No, it's just called Continental Dance Party. Yeah.
John?
Who released that? It was back then. Were you on a label?
Arc Records. I was on Arc Records, and believe it or not, I got a gold record on my first album because they used to put them in the stores, in the grocery stores, in drug stores, in service stations. They would have LPs.
So it was like a label.
Yeah, they had stuff all over Canada, and they got salesmen to go around once a month and see what they sold. They'd pay for that and replace them, and that's how I wound up with Arc Records. So I did, I think, 9 albums with Arc.
We did, as far as our band in 1989, we did a 45 RPM.
Yeah.
We recorded at Squire in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then in 1990 we did the first CD, Ready for Takeoff.
Okay.
In Buffalo at Squire Studios, that was for Sunshine Record label.
Okay.
John Boransky and Mike Nowakowski.
Okay. Yeah.
Mr.
Eddie?
Guca?
The first LP that we did, and we were trying to find, make a title for it, and we're thinking, we had all these titles that we want to do. Nobody wanted to agree on one, and we finally had to put it out. So it was just called Ed Guca and the Polish Canadians. No title or no nothing like that. We were all in Eddie Humaniuk's basement. We took a picture in front of his fireplace over there, and that was the cover. It was the.
Was it on a label? Your own?
We started Ram Records at that time, and we recorded it at Arc also.
Was it sponsored by?
Do you remember who the engineer was?
Way back.
I can't remember his name.
Ben Weatherby was there, but there was a guy before that, and he was a nice guy. And we did my first album in 8 hours, but we were rehearsed. But there was no vocals, it was all instrumental. So the thing is, we went in there and bada boom, bada bang, and it was done. Today,
Ram Records was not sponsored by Dodge, Chrysler?
Yeah, no, not quite.
Just wondered.
No, but we also did the first one. I think we did 8 hours because it was so expensive to record at that time, and we had a budget, and we says we got to do it. So we had to be so rehearsed, and we went in there, And actually, we did the vocals, and I wanted to redo a vocal, and it was we ran out of funds, so it's got to be as it is.
All right. Okay, so the next question is, do you remember the original members of your band? John?
Oh boy. Well, the first cha-cha band was Mary Niewiadomski on accordion, John Mazurek on drums, Steve, I don't know his last name, on guitar, and myself, and then Joe Poper came in also on guitar, and Rick Ivanchuk, and John Biały, George Machasovich, and then in '90 things changed, new members. Should I list them all? No.
No, just
I mean,
the question is, do you remember the original band?
Original, yeah.
Walter?
Yes, the original band was Bill Mortal on bass, Doug Grace on drums, Cecil Pontello on guitar and banjo, Andy Spinoza on saxophone, and myself on accordion.
Very good. Did you?
The original band was in high school, and we were called the Polka Aces at that time. Had Bill Kowalchuk on trumpet, and he was also a great accordion player, and he made a career out of Disney World. He played in Disney World for almost all his life. On sax we had Ron Lutz, and then also a really good musician, Andy Stafura, on he was a violin player, but he also played tenor sax. And on drums, a fella called Pete Sklar. Nothing to do with the furniture shop, but anyways, Pete Sklar. And
then Brian Sklar.
Yeah. And then after that, I got together with Eddie Grzesik and Eddie Olesh and Eddie Homeniuk, and we formed the...
Three Eddies.
Yes, three Eddies. We formed, and one Joe Benell. We formed the Polish Canadians, and that title was given to us by Little Wally.
Very good. Great. So the next question is, what was your favorite area or place to play? Eddie?
Every time we set up and played polka music, it was our favorite place because we enjoyed every job we played. A few that stood out, well, a lot of the festivals. There was Bel Air Polka Days, the USPA Festival, the IPA Festival, New London, Dick Pillar's New London, and one of my favorite places that I played at was the first Polish festival in Poland in 1977.
John?
Well, the first, I guess, because that was my first festival I ever seen, was Erie Polka Days at Waldemere Park. That was favorite. And then Seven Springs came along, and that became my all-time favorite.
Walter?
Well, the thing is, at the beginning, when I started January 26, 1957,
What time was it at? You are so good at these freaking dates.
8 o'clock. The thing is, I started at the German village in Niagara Falls. I played there every second week. Then I came to the Heidelberg, and I wound up at the Heidelberg. And the thing is that in the old days, we used to pack them in. I mean, they were hanging off the rafters.
Yes.
And if you didn't get in there
I hear
at
stories.
7 o'clock or 6:30, you wouldn't get in. You know, like, people were young, and I mean, it was like heaven. Every job was like heaven. And that's where it all started. And naturally, then it expanded. I went to other places, and then I started going over to the States, and, you know, and I did Dick Pillar's thing, you know what I mean? I did Pittsburgh, I did Youngstown, I did Cleveland, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan. I mean, it was all wonderful, you know, but the thing is that here, I didn't have to go nowhere. I had jobs, and then naturally once I got the TV show, well, then I was getting jobs all over Ontario, and then it was one thing, you know, it was like I was playing 4 nights a week and working every day. I was like a zombie, you know what I mean?
All you have to do is smile. Doesn't matter if
I
you're
did.
tired.
I did.
Just
I
show the smile.
I did. I had to have a guy driving, selling my LPs. People sometimes wouldn't give me enough time to put them on the rack. They were buying them off me. You know, and then I had to get him a guy. He wore a shirt same as us, dressed like us, and he drove my truck, okay, and sold my CD LPs.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah, so that's, I mean, Eddie B had his bus, but I had a station wagon and no, at that time already I had a truck and a trailer.
Very good. Very good. So the next question is, who in your band played with you the longest, John?
I would say Johnny Vignage on drums, still as part of the band, part-time.
How many years approximately?
36 years.
36 years, wow.
Yeah.
Walter?
Yeah, I would say my drummer, Doug Grace, who lives in Vancouver. He's still alive. He's 91 years old, and he was with me the longest. And,
Eddie?
You know,
What's with the drummer?
that, in this
It's
case,
the same with me.
yeah,
Joe Bonnell
yeah.
was drumming with me, and we're the best of friends for over 50 years. Eddie Homanyuk took over for a couple of times when Joe got married and went to Europe for a year, but for 50 years on and off, Joe Bonnell on drums.
Yes.
Very good. Okay, so the following question is, what were some of your favorite tunes you played or recorded? Walter?
Well, the thing is that Just Because still is one of my favorite. Just Because, Beer Barrel Polka, you always have to play Beer Barrel Polka.
Everybody knows that one.
Blue Skirt Waltz is still one of my favorite waltzes, okay? And then Spanish Eyes and Release Me. And these are some of the tunes. Anytime I play Spanish Eyes and Release Me, people get on the dance floor immediately. Don't ask me why, but that's the
Walter, at our age, we gotta start going with a new title. Please re-grease me.
check my oil.
You know.
I gotta stop laughing
Your
first.
favorite song. Please re-grease
Remember,
me.
we're supposed to smile.
Can't you
Trying. Okay, I'm greased up here, so. But I
Favorite
guess
song.
the favorite song that we had over many, many years is Ema Mushu Moya, and that was recorded, and it's a privilege to have it recorded by other bands. Eddie Blazonczyk re-recorded it, and the News used it as their theme song for a while, and quite a few other.
The Beat just did it, I think.
No, they did the other one that I was going to mention.
Oh, okay, right.
Day of the Wedding, Jen Vasella, which I wrote a week before we recorded it at Bel Air, and a week before I got married, and it was actually, I wrote it for my wife, Vanja. So if you ever
Try to
listen
make
to the
some
words,
points.
you can see that was...
I don't have a favorite song,
You
really. I mean, I like so many, you know, maybe
Me too.
She's Not Crying Anymore. She married me, so she's not crying anymore.
The other one, the other
No,
one
really.
that I liked that we did was a song called Toop Toop, and Maestro's Men just redid it there, and those are some of the ones
I
that
like
we recorded.
myself. I like playing the and we recorded it. Many bands recorded the Gora Mountaineer polka.
yeah,
I love
yeah.
playing that because you could
Yeah.
really put your feeling into it when you
Yeah.
sing it.
Yeah.
Very, very good. Okay, very good. So the next question is, do you have any advice for young people starting out in polka music?
As a matter of fact, I do. You're going to start off in polka music. Go to the roots. Take some old recordings and start off with bands like, I'll start off with Frankie Yankovic, then go to listen to bands like Frank Wojnarowski, Connecticut Twins, Ray Henry, then go on to Little Wally and Eddie Blazonczyk. Learn the music of those great bands and then make up your own style. Don't follow just one style. Learn all the styles that you can and listen to them, find out how they played, and make something that's original from your own style.
As far as I would say, if you're starting in a polka band, which you're gonna starve, by the way, you're not gonna make a living out. It's a nice hobby. It's a nice hobby. You know what? Play the music. play the music like from the roots, like Eddie said. Play the music that people want to hear. Don't. You might be a great writer and a lot of new stuff, but if you just push it right at the new stuff right away, I don't think it's going to work. Give them some stuff they grew up with and make it your own style. Put a little oomph of your own, and that's my advice.
Walter?
Well, my advice is, a young man, I've had this thrown at me many times. I said, young fella, it's not like it was when I started. I had grade 8 education. I failed in grade 9. The thing is, you have to have an education. You have a, number one, you go after your education, you take lessons, learn how to play whatever
We
instrument.
recorded that song. I got my education out
Up
behind the barn.
That's not what I mean. But the thing is,
It's a different education.
you go after an education, and then, but still at the same time, you take lessons, what you love, and then you can fall back on something. If you don't have an education, today you can't even go and pick up the garbage. I mean, you have to have some kind of. So my always is, get yourself a good education and then go after your dream.
Good advice.
And the thing is, I was lucky because that I worked at certain things and the people were behind me, so they helped me a little bit, you know what I mean? But I started working full time. Canadian Tire was my first job, $20 a week. $20 a week. Okay, I made more money when I started with Abby Anders. I was on radio 3 times a week. I got Monday on CKTV, $5. Friday night we played the dance at the UAW Hall. I got paid $10.50 for the job, $2 for the radio. Saturday, $10.50 I got paid for the job, $2 for radio.
There you go.
And that's the way it was, you know. So the thing is that, but little by little, you know, you get the shovel out and keep digging sooner or later.
To hit water.
Sooner or later,
Very
and I did, you know.
Okay, the next question is, what is your wackiest or most memorable band story? There must be lots, but
Oh my goodness.
let's hear about at least one or two.
There's not too many we can tell on camera, but here's one. When we were going to Poland in 1977, we were flying and we had about 98 people on the plane with us, and it was a night trip. We left New York, I think around 11 o'clock at night, and then slept a little bit, got up somewhere over Germany or something like that. And Tony Jankowski was with us. He's the one who ran Erie Polka Days. And we had John Rahal, which is Tim's Rahal's father, with us at that time. We had a violins on board. We didn't want to put him into the cargo, so we had a violins. And Tony comes up, hey, why don't you guys pull out the violins and play a couple of songs? Meanwhile, you know, we're 40 or 50 or 60,000 miles up in the air. So yeah, okay, let's do it. So we started, and we're playing Hey Gure Moja Guri, and about 3 or 4 women get up and they start dancing in the aisle, and Tony says, stop, we're gonna fall down out of the plane. And everybody's sort of, yeah, don't you know we're not on the ground. So that was sort of clean, wild time that we did have.
John?
Really, a lot of funny stories. Going down to play in Florida, and the turnpike was like 75 was just packed, jam-packed. Everybody stands still. You gotta pee somewhere, you know. And one of our guys, you know, started peeing out of the back of the van. The guy next behind us started doing the windshield washer. but another funny thing, going back to business, also down in Florida another year, another jam on the highway. We start talking to the people and say, oh, polka band. I sold 11 CDs that time, you know, traffic jam.
Mind you, that happened to me in Brantford at Tim Hortons. They did a bus from Saskatchewan,
Oh my goodness.
and I had them in the back of the car.
See, there you go.
Truck.
No, there's a lot of funny stories, but Those are the clean ones.
Walter?
One of my funniest stories is I had a drummer that recorded with me from Cleveland, Joe Pianecki from Cleveland, Ohio. He played with a lot of the big bands, and he was a real good drummer, but a little bit whacked, and he liked to drink. He says, Walter, if you're going to make this album work, he says, you got to bring a gallon of wine, case of beer, and a big bottle of whiskey, so we can get happy. Now, we went from here to Toronto to record, and he came all the way from Cleveland to record with us, and a banjo player, Al Markick, who had also his own band and played with Johnny Picano. These are two of my dear friends. So, not going to be recording the Canadian style. We got to do it the Cleveland style. So, the guys start recording and start drinking. We got halfway through the album.
And he's
The
slush.
guys were sloshed. They had to drive home, and I had to bring them back again to finish the rest of the album. And from that day on, I said, it's never going to be the Cleveland style anymore. It's going to be the Canadian. Nobody's going to drink till we finish the
that happen
job,
to me.
and then we can have all you guys want. You can have like one drink or so, but not like they were drinking.
Cost me about $800,000, about $1,000 extra for recutting a couple songs
I
because
know that.
too much happiness.
Yeah,
You guys weren't strict
too
enough.
happy. Yeah, well,
I
that's-
never let my guys drink. No, we don't drink anymore.
Yeah, and not
We
any
don't drink
less,
any
but
less.
yeah. One other
Okay.
one.
The next question is, what do you think set you apart in polka music?
Well, I guess I could say I'm lucky that I do speak the language. If I sing in Polish, I do understand the language, and I can kind of show, if I'm talking about heart, serce, I can show more emotion about the song. So people who I would say 90% do not speak the language these days, the polka fans, they will, get the kind of meaning of the song. That sets me apart.
A pan mówi czysto po polsku, prawda?
Da. Oh, that's Russian. Si, senor.
Well, if I can say something about John Gora, and when I first met him, you were a dancer, okay? And I watch you, the way you operate. You're a good dancer. You're a good singer, okay? The thing is that you already have something going for you because you know how to move around. Now, I was never a dancer, but yeah, no, but really, and you can speak Polish. I'm not a good singer, but Murray McFadden did.
You are a good singer.
Murray
Come
McFadden.
on.
No, but Murray McFadden in my career did like 90 albums. I did 104 albums. He did maybe 85. But the thing is that I sang, but not on record. Okay, he did the vocals. But when I sing, I can also speak Slovenian.
That's right.
Because at home I spoke Slovenian. Like the Cleveland guys, lots of things that they sing in Slovenian, they sing them wrong because they don't know how to speak Slovenian.
A ty rozumiesz i pričaš po slovenska.
That's it. Yeah. So, and not that they're not doing a fantastic job, and the bands are great, but the thing is that I do know, in other words, that I spoke Slovenian at home all the time.
Going back to, not to take away from Eddie, I was lucky enough when I was living in Poland, we were forced to take Russian because under the communist system, but I didn't like it. But now I'm so lucky I did because that gave me a bigger scope of all the Slavic languages. So I can read Cyrillics and, when it comes to any, Slovenian, Russian, Ukrainian.
Yeah. Well, the
It's much
thing is,
easier for me.
also, the thing is, I was born in Quebec. I spoke French when I was in
Oh,
Quebec, but I was only 4 years old when I moved to Ontario. So the thing is, I wish that I kept up the French, but again, nobody spoke French in those days in Ontario, so I didn't.
But you
continue.
still do the ooh la la, right?
Well, I think that I could have been doing a lot of work in Quebec if I would have spoke French.
A lot of
properly.
nice jigs, Quebec jigs, those, that French-Canadian music is so, like a polka.
That's right. They love happy music.
Eddie, what set you apart?
What was the question?
What set you apart?
What do you think sets you apart? Hold on.
Well, I think we developed a unique style because I started off with the Eastern bands, Wojnarowski, Ray Henry, Connecticut Twins, and the first band that I had, and even when we started with the Polish Canadians, before we were the Polish Canadians, we only did that Eastern music very fast. And then when we met with Little Wally, and that was, we went on a trip to Chicago when that's Eddie Guca, Joe Bonnell, and myself. When we finished university, we went in, oh, we're going to go to the big town and see what the music's like in Chicago. And we walked into Little Wally's office and we said, well, we're a band from Toronto. And he says, well, what kind of music we play? And he says, oh, we play, you know, all types of music. He says, you guys want to do a job for me in Grimsby, Ontario in October? And it was like, what did he just say? And so we got back and we had to completely revamp our style to a Little Wally style. So from Eastern to Little Wally, and then when we started doing recording, we took a combination of both and made our own style out of that, which is a combination of both, and that gave us a unique style. And then the thing is that Eddie Homanyuk, on the first album that we did on Ema Mushimoya, he says, I want to put a violin on it. And it was like, Eddie, what are you talking about? You can't put violin on polka music. What's wrong with you? And he says, well, I want to try it. I want to do it. And he was so that he wanted to do it that we let him do it. And then after that, but the way he did it, he did the country.
That was your accent. When I first met you, you heard your band. That was, you know, with that little touch of violin there.
Yep.
That was your accent.
And that is what we sort of
trademark.
grew up with, a little trademark.
Set you apart. Very good. Okay, gentlemen, this is all very interesting, but sooner or later this has to come to an end, and we have all kinds of questions. But finally, we'll ask you, what kept you going? What kept you going in polka music over all these years? Why did you continue to follow in these footsteps and to bring joy to all the people? What is it that drove you to continue?
I always said, if it becomes a chore, pack it in. If it's still fun, keep going. As long as God gives me health, I want to keep going. Look, Walter, smiling Walter, 85 years young. That's what you said, right, Walter?
As soon as he said smiling,
85 years young, and you know, you still love it. You still got it.
I love it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
People
I love it.
People give you that. People, I find in front of you, people dancing and singing along with you. They give you that oomph. They give you that.
And even
you know,
right
the
now,
drug.
just you guys being here, you make me happy.
You know, that's what it is. It's not a. I don't look at it as a job. I don't look at it as a. You know, it's a hobby.
It's hard to explain.
Yeah.
When you love something, you love it.
Yeah, it is a hobby. It's never been a full-time job, and the thing is, when you get on that stage and you see people, what you're doing to people, you see them smiling, dancing, having a great time. I mean, that's what life is all about.
It's the polka fans.
Yeah, it's
the fans. That's what it is.
and it's the music is so good. No dirty lyrics, no kill the cops or stuff like that. No angry music like some music is. This is happy music. You can't, in fact, as you know, I say polka music, Walter will smile, right? Polka music.
There is no generation gap in polka music. You can have a 4-year-old
right.
dancing with a 90-year-old.
That's right.
And I hope it continues for you polka fans. Maybe, you know, we don't have the nest of so many new musicians like we had years back.
Yeah.
But for those who are playing and maybe new musicians come along, I hope you continue to play the happy music, because it is happy music.
It is.
That's it. I mean, it makes you happy.
I mean, you know, things are getting smaller, festivals and dances, because a lot of the generations, maybe there are skipped a generation and we lost a bunch of followers. But when people come to a polka dance, they say, oh, this is fun. They will come again.
You see my man cave that I'm cleaning up right now at home. here. I have an accordion in there. I'm going to have it with automatic drummer and everything. But all those pictures in there, they all have a story.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have hundreds of pictures, and they all have a story. Now that guy that's working for me right now, he's a Ridley College graduate, believe it or not, in between jobs right now, and he's helping me out. But he wants to write my
You should.
life.
And
And
you-
I tell
you've
him,
got
like, who's going to
stories.
buy it? Who's going to buy it? But he says, look, we're going to do it in the wintertime when things are slowing down.
What we're doing today, this is going on YouTube. This will be in the archives of IPA.
YouTube?
And on YouTube, right now, the IPA has started their own channel, YouTube channel.
Okay.
So anybody in the world can view it. So they are having interviews all over USA from all styles of polka music.
Well,
And
the thing-
we will preserve many memories and facts.
one thing I have to say about IPA, I am honored to be in IPA, and it also arranged for me to be the first guy inducted in the Cleveland Style Polka Hall of Fame, because the 5 that were already in the IPA, they were the ones that went into the Cleveland Style automatically.
There you go.
Yeah,
Well,
so I lucked out right off the bat.
Gentlemen, it was a pleasure seeing you all today.
too.
Thank you very much on behalf of IPA. And I want to say a big thank you to the guy behind the camera, Les Kapuscinski.
Absolutely.
You know,
And
he's the one that takes most of the pictures you see on Facebook, on social media.
Okay, well, I'm not
And-
on that, but I just want to say one thing about you, John. I never heard anybody say a bad word about you, except the bad words I said about you myself.
And you know, this is the first time in history that the 3 IPA Hall of Fames were together.
Yeah.
And you know what? I think it would be a good idea if we ended off here with a little bit of vocal. Everybody knows Roll Out the Barrel. Roll out the barrel.
Hold on.
Keep going. Got a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel.
I got it.
We got the blues on the run. Hey, hey, hey. Sing boom, da-ra-ra. Sing out the song of the cheer. Now it's time to roll the barrel, 'cause the gang's all here.
Ah, there you go. Got my barrel. Bye.
Let's go and eat.
And with that, as Walter said, let's eat. We did. Walter had treated us out for a very nice lunch, and we had lots of fun talking even after the interview was over. I would like to thank Walter Ostanek for his hospitality and opening up his home to us, and to all 3 of the guests for giving up their time so that we could kind of look into their lives a little bit. I hope all of you have enjoyed the interview. I certainly enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I hope you did too. Until next time, see you around.